welcome to How to Spot a Victim of Angelman Syndrome show with your host, Rare and Raj.
I do it for the children. Given its name, you might think that Angelman Syndrome looks a little bit like this. But it actually doesn't look like this. In fact, but what it actually does look like is like our special guest today, Grant Schussler, victim of Angelman Syndrome.
Hi.
How are you today, Grant?
I like smiling.
You seem to like smiling. How do you feel today, Grant Schussler?
I'm depressed.
You're depressed? It doesn't seem to look like it.
I can't control my emotions.
And why is that?
I don't know. Angelman Syndrome?
Grant doesn't seem to know the exact specifications of his disease, and that's something that we're here to teach him about.
Okay.
How to spot a victim of Angelman Syndrome with Grant Schussler. Grant, do you know exactly why you smile so much and are essentially different like this?
No.
Well, it's because you have a disease known as Angelman Syndrome. Do you know why it's named that way, Grant?
No.
Well, I can tell you. It is because it was discovered by a scientist known as Dr. Harold Angelman in 1965. And it was because of this that it was named as so. Now, do you know the reason why you have Angelman Syndrome, Grant? Of course not. Well, I don't either. Hey, cameraman, do you know what the causes of Angelman Syndrome are?
Why, yes. Angelman Syndrome is a genetic disorder of the 15th chromosome. The chromosome is also called UBE3A. About 70% of Angelman Syndrome is caused when a segment of chromosome 15 is deleted. The disease is caused purely genetic. In case you didn't understand that, here is an interview from the man behind Angelman Syndrome research, Dr. Edwin Reber.
Angelman Syndrome, you say? Angelman Syndrome is a neurogenetic disorder of the brain, which involves the 15th chromosome, also known as the UBE3A. Here I have a sketch of a normal 15th chromosome and a 15th chromosome that has gone through a mutation known as deletion. As you can see, the normal chromosome is slightly larger than the mutated chromosome. I hope this has been informative for all the viewers out there. Thank you and have a nice day.
Alright, whatever, okay? We don't need all your babbling. What has to be realized is that Grant doesn't know the exact cause of his condition, and we just told him. But Grant, we're gonna have to delve deeper into asking you questions about your childhood and what affected you when you were a child. So tell me, how was your childhood like? How did you learn things? Did you learn to walk really early or really late?
According to my mother...
Your mother?
Yes, my mother. I still call her that. I learned to walk and talk when I was like 4.
4? Like 4 months or?
Years.
Years. That's a very short amount of time. And that's actually one of the major symptoms of Angelman Syndrome, in that motor skills such as walking or talking are learned very late, something that is very unfortunate for many children such as Grant Schussler. We interrupt your regular programming with a message from the FBI. Residents of Plano, we need your help in finding a masked murderer that's been rampaging around the city. We only have 2 leads on the guy. One, a diagnosis from his doctor that says he has Angelman Syndrome, and this photo, drawn by an amateur artist. He did quite a good job. First, let's look at how he has a short attention span. He won't be really focusing on anything besides his murders. Second, he has strabismus, which means that he crosses his eyes way too much. That's going to be obvious when you see him in a public setting. And 3, he smiles too much. I mean, it'll obviously be obvious. And then, likable, energetic personality. He's likely to be surrounded by a lot of friends who might know something about the murder. And also, hyperactivity. He moves his legs around too much. And this is all symptoms of his unfortunate disease, Angelman Syndrome. However, the guy must be stopped. We've been working tirelessly, day and night, trying to find this guy. But the FBI terminal offers no solution.
Wait, I have a lead.
Wait. Wait a second. A symptom that many victims still suffer in adulthood, such as Grant, is short attention span. Grant, do you know what a short attention span means?
I believe a short attention span. Bird.
Oh my god, is that an eagle? Nice. Okay, but anyway, a short attention span is basically when, like Grant just demonstrated, when you can't simply focus on one thing. Bird! Oh my god, look, it's an eagle this time. It's not, oh, okay. When you can't focus on one thing at the same time. Something that Grant suffers from, and something that victims of Angelman Syndrome suffer from when in school situations, such as Grant was when he was younger. So Angelman Syndrome makes people suffer on many levels, both on the academic and as a child. And in case you still don't understand the symptoms of Grant's unfortunate disease, this is a little demonstration that I took the liberty of putting my cameraman to work on doing. Enjoy.
Okay, Brand, let's play soccer. Got it. Now come tackle me. This is football after all.
But I don't want to tackle you, I like you.
Aw, you're so warm and friendly all the time. No wonder we're best friends. Oh my god, you're having a seizure.
You know, Aaron, I like football more than football.
That's great, Grant. But as demonstrated by the clip, basically, more symptoms of Angelman Syndrome consist of occasional seizures, a very likable and energetic personality, and most of all, lacking a lot of motor skills, something that was demonstrated by Grant's inability to kick a soccer ball. And to examine some of the symptoms of Angelman Syndrome that Grant experienced when he was a child, let's take a look at one of his home videos provided by one of his loving parents. Here's Grant at 4 years old. Come on, Grant. Walk, crawl, do something. Given the large amount of abuse that Grant suffered in that demonstration of that clip, we can obviously see that Grant probably wonders if he could be normal sometimes, if he can just go back to being a normal person. You ever feel that way, Grant? Obviously you do. But there is consolation because there are several types of therapy that is available for you to try to get back to normal. There's no cure or vaccine to completely cure the disease, but progress is being made, especially in mental therapy, something that addresses the hyperactivity and the short attention span that you yourself have. Let's take a look at what the effects on Grant would be like if he decided to take up behavioral therapy. With behavioral therapy, Grant is still a bit more happy than usual, but he also is very diligent in his workings. Here he is studying biology, the Calvin cycle, one of his favorite subjects with one of his most favorite teachers.
I like Calvin.
Me too. So, show us a bit of your creativity, Grant. Do you have a poem for us?
Yes, it's very lengthy, but I have one line from it that I would like to share with you.
Go ahead.
To get an A or to not get an A, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind than to get an A on Miss Rich's standards. I forgot it.
It's okay. You're obviously showing improvement. But aside from the mental problems Grant has, there are also physical ones, as demonstrated by the clip with our cameraman. Obviously, Grant wants to play football and thinks it's fun, but he can't. But with physical therapy, he's actually drastically improving his physical reflexes and his physical coordination, as demonstrated by the following clip.
Let's try playing football once again, Grant. Nice.
Bravo.
Ready for this? Oh, I did it! Good job, Grant. Good job.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Football. Here we have Pablo Picasso, who has just finished up his newest creation, a comic strip representing the treatment of Angelman Syndrome. Would you like to tell us about this, Pablo?
It's like to say I do it for the children. Here, let's take a closer look. So the first frame, if you will, is a victim of Angelman Syndrome going to his doctor screaming, "I want a cure." And the doctor says, "A cure isn't available right now, but there are things that can help." Second slide shows Mr. Angelman, let's call him Mr. Angelman, before the treatment. His grade in bio is a 60, which he hates, and he has very severe symptoms, such as too much smiling, hyperactivity, and little to no focus, which contributes to his low grade in bio. But let's take a look at what he is during the treatment. His doctor is quizzing him on bio very extensively, and he says, "Woo, I've been doing bio for 4 hours," which means that treatment obviously involves a large amount of exercise involving focusing and other things such as that, such as physical and mental therapy. Let's take a look at the improvements that he made after the treatment. His grade in bio increased by up to 20 points to an 80. That's a significant improvement, but not everything has been combated, because there are still mild symptoms. He still has irregular smiling. He has a small amount of hyperactivity, and he is able to focus for longer periods, but not infinite periods. And he has been showing improvements. And though it isn't exactly a full-on cure, it's obviously an improvement. And his grade in bio should improve to 100 if he continues treatment for the rest of his life. So, while the cure is not being able to reach yet, current treatment and current conditions and a lot of hard work can replicate it. So obviously, physical therapy was very beneficial for both Grant and his partner in improving their sports life. But Grant, you might be wondering exactly how much work does it take to make these improvements? And it requires a lot of work, because hours and hours, days and weeks of physical and mental therapy are required to make this progress. You might be thinking to yourself, why can't I just have an injection, a simple pill, to cure my disease? Well, that won't be present for another couple of years, but research is being done right now, something that my cameraman can elaborate upon. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Research being done on Angelman syndrome has increased prolifically over the past decade. The leading researchers of AS is called Angelman Syndrome Foundation, which supports over 66 projects worldwide and has been working on a cure for Angelman syndrome. The ASF is currently accepting proposals, and also people with symptoms of AS can volunteer in research studies. And also the NLML organization has already cured a mouse with AS. So organizations have predicted to cure AS in about 10 years.
Good job.
And now we're back to Dr. Weber. So Dr. Weber, tell us a little bit about your research.
Yes, the current research. Here we have an AS model. This tests the skills of mice in searching for a target. As you can see, a mouse with no problems in chromosomal function will find the target in a much more condensed and efficient manner than the mouse with Angelman syndrome. This shows us how little focus a victim of Angelman syndrome might have. Thanks for watching another segment with me, Dr. Weaver, and have a nice day.
And in conclusion, we've covered 4 major topics on Grant's condition, Angelman syndrome. First, the genetic disorder and how it affects his genes and his chromosomes. 2, the symptoms of this disease. 3, exactly what treatments he can do to improve his condition. And 4, current research is being done on this condition. And I hope that Grant, as well as other people who suffer from Angelman syndrome, can improve their lives with this information. This is Aaron Raj and Grant Schussler signing out today. I do it for the children.
Cheers.